This is Richard Kuhns, author of How to Get Your Life Back from Morgellons, chronic Lyme, and other skin parasites. Welcoming you to questions and answers. First of all, let me tell everyone that the AMA requires us, the FDA requires us to inform you that before you start the diet, the King Diet, or accept any of our recommendations, you're to thoroughly discuss them with your medical doctor to make sure they do not interfere with any health problems. The AMA requires that we inform you we're not trained physicians. We haven't gone through the training. So therefore, we're not educated enough to diagnose, treat, cure, or mitigate any disease, and that what we're limited to, and that is to educate you how to use the King Diet to your benefit, how to clean them out of the organisms out of your skin, out of your environment, and the targeted supplements to build health and immune functioning. Okay, we have a lady who was on before asking about being contagious. Is she there?
We were talking about the contagion, then we start talking about the magnetic shards of stuff coming out.
Yes, the stuff coming out of your skin. You were saying that there's shards of different things coming out of your skin. Is it crystalline-like?
Yes, yes. And about a year ago, I mean, I'm not getting that so much now. Now I'm just getting what seems to be more like long, wormy-looking things. That's what it seems like. I don't know. But before, mostly it was like a lot of black stuff and clear, crystallized, almost iridescent-looking, like shards of glass coming out of me. And when I would take a magnet to my face, and I got to the point where I was so desperate, I took a 25-pound magnet and would barely go against my skin, and it would pull the stuff out, and it was very, very intense burning and painful. Like I would stutter. It was so painful to get it out where I couldn't take it anymore, and then you have to pull it. And it's almost like you would take the most amount of pain you could possibly take, and then it would pop out. And what was coming out was like metal-like objects, like little pieces of black stuff that would hit. Some of it was clear, some of it was like an iridescent color, some of them were black, some of them were red, but you could actually hear them when you like throw them down, like on the magnet. You can hear the ding, ding, ding. You can hear them. So it had to be something of substance, for it to, some kind of metal for it to be pulled out.
Let me address your question. Now, when it comes to Morgellons, the only thing that characterizes or determines that whether you have or dealing with Morgellons, according to Dr. Saverly, who wrote Morgellons, The Legitimization of a Disease, is the presence of filaments or fibers growing from your skin. Now, It started as that, and I still have those too, but not as much as I used to. If you have filaments or fibers growing from your skin, that characterizes you as having and dealing with Morgellons, according to her. Now, they can be microscopic in size, such that you need a 60-power scope in order to see them on your skin. And most people don't have a scope like that. So instead, what they often find is that they find cotton-like or lint-like substance without any reasonable explanation in their bedding and in their clothing. I say without any reasonable explanation because a reasonable explanation would be like a wool coat or a wool object, clothing, cashmere, or that kind of thing. That things like that could be coming from, but they find them often in their bedding and their clothing. They also find them growing from their skin, usually from lesions. Now, when it comes to Morgellons, there are no two people with exactly the same things going on. So some people may have only the tiny filaments and fibers and can only see them as lint-like or cotton-like balls. Sometimes they find them as black specks, and when you put them under a microscope, you'll see that instead of it being a dead organism, it's a tightly knitted substance with filaments in it, very tight knit. All right, so that would be Morgellons instead of a dead mite, for instance. Okay, now when it comes to the visible filaments and fibers, again, rarely that two people have the same thing. They can be different lengths for different people. They can be different thicknesses, different sizes. They can be different colors. They're generally fluorescent. So that would be under a black light. Somebody had written in that they have a black light and they see the filaments under the black light. Well, there's similar characteristics between an ultraviolet and a black light, which means that, yes, if under a black light or a fluorescent light you see them, definitely, that is Morgellons, all right? Now, beyond the filaments and fibers, there is an infinite number of things going on with the skin. Now, some people have organisms coming from the skin. They can be live organisms, cocoon-shaped organisms. They can be like mites coming out of your skin and flying away from you. They can be like nematodes or worm-like things, larvae coming from your skin. They can be shards. One person had like a hooked shard coming out of his skin, like made out of plastic, 3/4 of an inch long. Another lady had these things that are 3 inches long. And believe me, she said they were very painful getting them out of her skin. But they're barbed, they're hook-like things. So now some people have goo. Many people do have goo, biofilm. And that's one of the questions that somebody wrote in about, telling me that, yeah, I got this film all over my body. I don't have any itching or anything else, but I got this film, and it seems to replicate. That's basically a biofilm. So some people have black goo. Some people have white goo. So, again, no two people have exactly the same symptoms when it comes to Morgellons. They vary. So what's coming out of your skin is what's coming out of your skin, and it doesn't mean that that everybody has that coming out of the skin. You're just lucky to have, you're the lucky one that's got that stuff coming out of your skin.
Well, unfortunately, I'm really not, because I've pretty much everything you've said I've gotten. I've had the grappling hooks. I mean, I have so many different types. I've had the long fibers, the long filaments. I've had crazy-looking ones that look like neurons. I mean, if you look at it, I show it to somebody like, oh my goodness, it's like, you know, maybe 1.5 inches long, and it's like, what is that? It looks like fibers, but it almost looks like the shape of a neuron. You know, it's just a crazy thing.
Now we have a choice.
So many different things.
You have a choice, and everybody on this call has a choice, and everybody in the universe has a choice. We can be amazed, and we can get pictures, we can get microscopes, we can take pictures, and we can show them, and we can be amazed, and we can be amazed again, and we can be amazed about this stuff coming out of the skin. But what the hell are you going to do about it?
And the biofilm, that does happen, but it doesn't happen all the time. It's almost like a...
Yeah, we can be amazed. It comes and goes, but what the hell can you do about it? Have you started the diet? Number one.
No, I'm just now getting...
Or read the book. The treatment is the same no matter what.
Yeah, again, we don't treat, we educate. So number one thing for everybody on this call to do is get on the diet. That's what this... Hey, if it weren't for this diet, I wouldn't be here. Robin wouldn't be here. Mary wouldn't be here. Hundreds of people wouldn't be where they are and with their lives back. So we can be amazed, and we can be like the movie, what was that movie called they did? And we can go about looking at all the pictures and all the microscopy, and we can be, it's keratin and it's collagen and it's got spirochetes in it, and we can be amazed, or we can do something about it. And that is start the diet, make the diet work. Because until you make that diet work, what are you, Robin?
You're a walking, breeding parasite machine.
Absolutely. And you also talk. Walking, talking, breeding parasite machine. Until you start this diet, I have no idea how the diet works. All I know is that it's like putting them in a trance. Believe me. It's like they're there and they're in a trance. Where do they, you know, I don't know. And you can then clean them out, get rid of them.
Well, that'll be my next thing that I do, because like I said, I started detoxing last July with chlorella, spirulina, with borax and Epsom salt and baking soda and garlic pepper. I mean, I've been doing everything. So
Robin, what is she doing? What is she
You're
doing?
not doing the diet. You're not reading the book.
She's wasting.
You're spinning your wheels. You need to slow down.
Wasting your time. You may as well be on Facebook watching for the next revelation. And
I'm just now discovering this, so I am going to go ahead and do the
welcome to the program. Welcome to the program, because this program works. And once you get that, make that diet kick in. And there's an orientation video about the diet. It's for many people, I'd say maybe 60, 70, 80%, it kicks right in. Many people, unfortunately, make mistakes because, for instance, it's very meticulous. Salt, sodium chloride, common ordinary salt is on the diet, okay? And you might have diamond salt. Hey, it's on the diet, but it's got sugar in it, so it's not going to work. You're not on the diet.
Stevia.
Yeah, stevia. You think, okay, everybody makes good stevia. No, stevia's got sugar in it, some of it. Then they got other additives in it. So you've got to be meticulous. You've got to read all the ingredients. You've got to be an expert in that diet. You've got to have it with you. It is very precise. You've got to make it work. And once you make it work, it's like night and day. You're on your path. You're going to be dancing. You're going to be happy again.
I'm looking forward to it. Thank you.
You're welcome. Keep coming back. We're here. We're here to inspire you, and there are many others yet to share and ask questions. Okay, who's next?
Jen, you can go next.
Oh, okay. Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Hi. If you go to visit the store to get your debriding soap, they're out of two of the debriding soaps that you buy, but the one that they have is the new formula. And so I ordered some of that, and I was just really, I think I was in a panic because I have to have that debriding soap. So anyway, I tried it last night, and sometimes you feel like everything happens for a reason. This new debriding soap is stronger. It's a much darker of a color. I think you probably should concentrate it, but I didn't. I used it right out of the bottle. And you don't even need an exfoliator with this debriding soap. Things were just coming off. It's that much stronger. For me, it was that much stronger. I washed my hair with it, and it was so strong that just were like an old recent had been or something, I would have just singing, because it's cleaning it and it's getting in there. But I couldn't believe what was coming out of my body. I couldn't believe the power of this soap. So the new formula is really, really great. And I just didn't want anyone to panic like I did and call Chris.
We got you covered.
I was driving Chris crazy, I think, because this is a really great soap. It's really a great debriding soap. I don't know how you came about, or how new this one is, but it's the only one you have right now, and it's just fabulous. It's really a great product.
I'm so glad to hear that.
Yes.
I knew it was, but I was hoping everybody else would find it so as well.
I needed it because of the stage I'm in right now. And so, see, it just worked out that I got, it worked out great for me.
How are you doing with the program? How long have you been in the program?
It's not quite a year. But I started taking the pill for Lucineron and I talked to you guys about this one day, and I was having a lot of parasites coming through. I mean, just popping out, making a hole in my arm like a lesion and coming out of my body. And you said, you know, what about your diet? You don't want to be a parasite breeding machine. So with that information, I really thought, I said, well, no, I'm not eating. I don't have any sugar or nothing. But then I thought, you know, I mean, if he said that, so I went to the refrigerator, and because I eat a lot of bacon, I looked at the bacon from Whole Foods. It had sugar in it. I went to my salt, which was from Whole Foods, like in this beautiful container, and it, you know, Whole Foods, they wouldn't put sugar in salt, would they? It had sugar in it.
You can't trust anybody.
You have to read labels.
I mean, really, they should be ashamed of themselves for putting sugar and salt. Why do you need sugar and salt anyway? And it's in the bacon. Well, I mean, so anyway, now I have those things straightened out. But I'm so happy that we had that conversation because, you know, I mean, you're going through a lot. I mean, I went to Whole Foods to get some things today, and just to walk by those cookies and cakes, and I mean, I was just like, God, I got to get out of here. But you know, I just felt like that was all. You'd be safe. Not anything you buy there, like the salt, wouldn't have sugar in it. But I'm so glad that you said that to me, because it did get me really thinking and looking at ingredients on everything now. And it's so, I mean, I never knew that they put sugar and salt at all at any time. So
doesn't blow you
thank
away?
you for that. The fact that you said it, I thought, well, you know what? He did sound kind of persuasive that I needed to check the ingredients of things. But I'm sure I'm perfect. I'm sure I'm not taking sugar. But you just can't be that sure, because there's sugar really in everything.
Right. Read
so I got that straightened out.
Your check is in the mail.
They're still coming out a lot. And I was even thinking of getting off of the lefiniron. But then I think, well, but maybe that's what's causing them to come out so much. Because I was like, I had no lesions. I was in a great place. And, you know, doing everything with the diet, you know, always here on the call. And then this started happening. When I took the lefiniron, they started coming out, like making their own hole in my body and coming out in it. So, I don't know. I'm going to keep taking it, and just hopefully it's gotten a lot better, so maybe they're slowing down.
Lefiniron can cause things to leave your body because they don't like it, and you want them out of your skin and out of your body, so I would stick with it.
Right.
That's what I thought too, Robin. I thought, no, I can't stop now.
And in fact, there's a blog post about a year or so ago about a lady who wrote in, and we learned so much from each other. Like, I learned from a lady named Marge that was having trouble with the diet. Then she discovered that, gee whiz, there was sugar in the salt, diamond salt, you know. So, but one lady wrote in about lefiniron. She started it, and after she started it, she had all these breakouts, like acne on her face, like she couldn't believe. Just after she started lefiniron and all the breakouts. And she didn't panic. I guess she panicked a little bit, but she stuck with it. And I don't know why she stuck with it. Most people would have probably stopped, but she stuck with it. And a month later, all of it cleared up, all gone. And
thank you, Richard. I needed to hear that. I needed to hear that, and I'm going to continue on, like Robin said.
So there are so many people who come to this program, and they start the diet, or they play with the diet, and they make silly little mistakes, unknowing mistakes, and they don't get it to kick in. And they just say, oh, it didn't work for me. You know, they give up so quickly. You know, that's why we have this program. We have it here to provide inspiration, to educate you, to let you know it. We know it's not easy, and it's worth it when you get a simple little mistake like salt. can make the difference between
Wow. Yeah.
success and failure.
Who would have ever dreamed? And so I learned it through this, through you guys. So there's so much information. You have so much information to give, and I thought I would be 100% with the diet. Because, I mean, why would you starve yourself and then from the things that you love and you can't eat any longer, and then do something like, oh, I'm going to just, eat this and have a little bit of sugar in it. You don't want any sugar. So I feel today I was really kind of depressed. But I'm out of it. I feel like myself, and hearing everyone talk and listening to you guys. So this is so good today, good information.
Well, I'm glad you're here, and we are always looking for coaches. If you'd like to be supportive of others, we welcome you to be a coach. Many of you are going to be coaches at some time or other.
Right.
We're even looking for a buddy coach, somebody to help connect people with each other. So keep that in mind, everybody on the call.
Well, I've got a whole long page of things that you said, that you talked about, and that it didn't sound, that important. I mean, like it was a huge thing, but it turned out that I knew that they were huge things. Like, if there's new people, like cleaning your toilet seat in your toilet, and I had some bites on places where the sun don't shine, and I'm like, this is driving me crazy. How are they there? Why? I mean, how did they get there? And in the next call, Lisa says, be sure you clean the sides, everywhere into that toilet seat. And every time I clean my toilet, and I do right after I use it, I find bugs every time, parasites every time I clean it. Every time.
Yep.
Even if I clean it, it didn't go back. They're there.
Your body sheds them.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's something if anyone, didn't get that information, do yourself a big favor, because that was the most irritating thing that's ever happened to me in my life, to have that problem. So, I got a lot of them. I got a lot of stories.
Okay, keep coming back. Share one each week. We'd love to hear them.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay, who's next?
Rachel, you could go next, Rachel.
Hi, Rachel.
Hi. Okay, my question is about these lesions. So spring cleaning, I'm doing that right now pretty heavily, and my family's house is pretty consistently terrible. And after cleaning recently, I've been having these really awful lesions like that I've never had before, with like one long gray hair from Mars, like that, like I think it's a zit, or then I think it's an ingrown hair, and then I'm pulling out my brain from the middle of my forehead, and it won't come out. So my question is, one, is there anything that I can use when I'm cleaning my environment as like a physical barrier cream or oil just for cleaning, because my pores are so big and my face is like a walking vacuum or like fly trap for whatever this stuff is that's getting in my skin and that I'm cleaning up. And then two, once the lesion is there and it's open, like an open wound, I tried putting the debriding soap on that to get these things to help escort them out. And it hurts so bad when they're open.
It does, but it will heal it fast.
Yeah.
I mean, you put it on when it's like a gaping hole and bleeding, and it's
it will heal fast.
Well,
and
let's address the first part of the question. It sounds like you're getting reinfected from your environment. Number one, have you gotten a diet to kick in? I guess not.
Long time. No, I try, but
okay.
No.
Well, number one, it's very important to get that diet to kick in. And there are several things that you can do to accelerate that. Number one, the gal before was talking about being like a detective and looking at all the ingredients, even salt, and making sure you're not making some mistake I mean, she thought she was on the diet, and then comes to find out she wasn't really, because the salt has sugar in it. Bacon, you need a low sodium bacon. That for some reason doesn't have the sugar in it. So you need to be very careful in what you're eating and make sure it is on the diet. You need to keep an eating diary to list everything you're eating, when you're eating it, and what it is, and what you're drinking. All vitamins and supplements that you now have or had, go in the back of the shelf. Get them out, because I can guarantee you that just about every one of them, 99% of all of them, have got ingredients in them that are going to feed the parasites. The supplements that we have in the shop, that we have in a store, are not there for us to get rich on. They're there because they are completely compatible with the King diet. There's no ingredients in any of them that is a problem with the King diet. For instance, the multiple vitamin. I must have looked at 50 different multiple vitamins available, the best in the world. And they have ingredients in them that are not compatible. Might be simply some kind of berry. They put berries in for some, for skin or whatever, I know, but they're not compatible with the diet. So get rid of all the supplements. If you're taking any, only use the ones that we have in the store. Now, to kick the diet in, sometimes the Max 1, the glutathione accelerator. Someone had talked, and I missed this point earlier, about the metal toxicity and about getting amalgam fillings removed, and that is Dr. Ammons' approach. He is one of the specialists dealing with Morgellons, and his approach is get rid of all these fillings. Get them out. Get them out. Well, bull. It's mercury, okay? It's mercury. It's not good. It's toxic. It feeds parasites. But the killer of mercury is glutathione. Boost your glutathione. Oh, we have all these experts, Dr. Horowitz, Dr. Klinghardt, all these experts on Lyme disease, and they don't even think about boosting glutathione. But glutathione is the most important thing you can do. So your body needs lots of glutathione, and the Max 1 product is completely compatible with the diet and boost your glutathione 270% just with 2 capsules. So if you've got metal toxicity, go spend $10,000 to have all of them removed and refilled, or up your glutathione to maybe 4 or 6 a day. Your body can use it anyway. It's a lot less expensive, and your body needs it anyway. So, okay. Now, so making mistakes in the diet is very easy. So boost glutathione. That sometimes will allow the diet to kick in. Secondly, we have figured out over the years that parasites and dopamine is a relationship. And the more your brain takes up dopamine, the happier the parasites are. This was brought out in a research project, a study that was reported in one of the updates maybe a year ago. And this is what substantiates the use or recommendation of the different medications in Chapter 6. There's ORAP, which is Primazod. There's Zyprexa. There's Abilify. There's 11 different medications. Okay, but forget that. There's herbs that do it. We have Nature's Gift, Parasite Stop Herbal Formulated. So you don't even have to get medications. You can use that, and that'll help kick the diet in. So keep the diary. Make your first job to make that diet work. That's your first job. Now, as far as disinfecting, it is a job. So, I mean, if they're coming at you in the face, Robin, what do you suggest?
I suggest I think you can be perfect on the diet and still get attacked if your environment's bad enough, as I can attest to.
Absolutely.
I think you should cover your head just like you're doing the hair treatment. You should wear goggles. You should wear a mask. You should spray your clothes with deep woods off. And as soon as you're done cleaning or whatever, you should throw your clothes in the wash and jump in the shower or tub. And you should get some parasite stop, as you suggested, and just make sure. Like, I was in stage 3 of the diet, and I thought my house was done, and then I used a stronger pesticide, and everything went crazy. So I had to go back to stage 1, and it's only been a few weeks, and my house is finally really getting better. It was just they were quiet, you know, so, yeah, you have to continue to be aggressive, but you need to protect yourself. I have one set of clothes that I wear for cleaning. I spray them with pesticide. I wear a mask, and I cover my head, and I wear goggles. I wear nitrile gloves. You want to do as much as you can to protect yourself.
In other words, Robin looks like a crazy woman when she's going through her.
I do. People walk in my house and they go, "Are you okay?"
She has a hazmat suit on. All right. There's also, you know, we also have an electrostatic sprayer, which means you can basically deal with these organisms at a further distance and use a spray. It's a lot more effective than fogging. So chapter 3 of the book goes into a lot of options that you have and different steps. So the ultimate is the hazmat suit type of system. But number 1, get the diet to work. Otherwise, you're just shedding them and picking them up again. Shedding them and picking them up again. Okay, who's next?
Tony. You could
Hi, Tony. Hey, Tony, we haven't heard from you for a few weeks. How you doing?
I'm well. I'm still managing and staying on stage 1. I tried a little bit of race cake. But before I go, well, I've been working, and that's been taking a lot of time. Work is definitely inconvenient when I want to clean and take care of myself and take baths and all that. So trying to fit everything into a schedule. And work is, you know, the one building where I did most of my last 20 years is infested, so I have to go in there occasionally and be re-exposed. And I still haven't been able to eliminate these mites from my house. The diet is pretty good. I'm really good at sticking with the diet. However, I still see them flying around. They still come at me. I still feel a little bit of itching and biting occasionally. And does that ever go away? It's one question I have for you.
Well, have you taken advantage of the electrostatic sprayer? Because whenever we have them in
yes. I'm like on my 3rd one from Ryobi because they stopped squirting after a while.
Oh, okay. So you are using the electrostatic sprayer. That's number 1. So just keep at it. Are you using the enzymes? What disinfectant are you using?
I have been using enzymes, and I just recently started with Benefact. So I've been using that twice a day now.
Okay.
I love this fine smell. It's really nice. Hopefully the bugs don't.
What he said, he loves the thyme smell, because Benefact is thyme. It's an herb, basically what it is. And yeah, and a good point that you made, the Ryobi sprayer, you said you're on the 3rd one. That means everybody who does get the sprayer, send in that warranty card, because if you don't send in that warranty card, if your electrostatic sprayer goes, you're out.
Yeah,
but yes, it does go away. You do the itching and stuff does stop eventually as you get better.
It's basically a minimum of 21 days of doing it at least once a day, and as Tony said, sometimes 2 or 3 times a day. because these things can be tremendously resilient and resistant.
Yeah, when I notice them, I'm like trying to get some work done here, or sit at my table, I spray again. So, yes, it does help.
What are your plans with the work environment that's infested?
Ooh, Robin and you were discussing it with the previous caller, or I definitely had an office in that building that I had to clean out, and I definitely had a Tick-Borne suit on and goggles, and I tried cleaning and spraying with the electrostatic sprayer, and I have some insecticide that I was using there too, because I don't want the people that are now inhabiting that office to be so exposed. But there's some boxes on shelves in that building that I went in there the other day, and I had to move them around to look for something, and I can definitely see the mites flying off of them. They're in my car again, using the Delta dust there. In my car, it's a mess with all, because I went a little crazy with the Delta dust the last time. So that does seem like it helps, dusting all the carpeting. I've got to clean it out.
Right.
My desk items, I've been packing away in plastic bags. I just received some new vine strips, so I'm going to put those in those bags, the things that I can't. My file papers that I need, they went in those the turkey bags. I've been baking those out so I can open them up and look at those.
The parasites love paper and cardboard, and you want to get some plastic bins with covers to put papers that you really want to save in with Nuvon strips or menthol crystals, but don't use just cardboard boxes.
No, I know that. I need to get rid of them.
You need to get rid of the cardboard boxes. And Walmart has great little plastic things with covers that clip on of all sizes, like for keeping tax papers, all kinds of stuff that you really need to save. Just put a Nuvon strip or two in the plastic bin with the papers and close it up, and you should be good to go. But while you're doing it, it's going to be a challenge.
I was wondering what I was going to do with my file papers, but I like your idea that the plastic toters that are made for filing.
Right.
That's a good.
Yeah, you can
Thank you once again for a great idea.
Yeah.
You can take it one step further with papers, and that is that you can buy get these oven bags probably on Amazon, and put them all in the oven bag and put them in your oven for 250 degrees for a few hours, and then put them in the plastic totes with the Nuvon strips or the menthol crystals. That would be just one more protection step.
Okay. Yeah, I've been baking the paper in the plastic turkey bags for like 6 hours because I don't want to take any chances and leave the oven on overnight, and I have a timer that turns it off.
Use a timer.
Those are great ideas.
Okay. Okay, Tony.
But I have one observation that because I've been so strict on the stage 1 diet, and I thought I could eat some rice crackers the other day. There's puffed rice cakes, and I had these horrible leg cramps that woke me up like every hour or every 45 minutes that night, and I didn't know what it was. And then so I tried the rice cakes again like a week later, and same thing happened. But I guess my electrolytes became very off balance when I ate the rice cakes. That was the first time I had any carbs.
Cramps are usually.
Have you heard of that?
Cramps are usually a potassium deficiency. I don't know why the rice cakes would do that. Are you using our ionic minerals?
Yes.
Okay.
I usually do at least one of those a day. I've been taking a bottle of work with it in there, and I usually have one for overnight, sipping in water. And I'm taking the multivitamins and multi-minerals now.
Were you driving a lot the day you took the day you ate the rice cakes?
No, just sitting at work and, you know, again, I'm so strict with the diet, and I found eating any kind of grains would make me susceptible to the itching and biting. So I have eliminated them and hardly ever eat carbs.
I couldn't eat rice cakes that had nothing else in it. I don't know if it's because the rice they use has higher sugar content. I could never eat rice cakes. I could do the other kinds of grain, like the spelted flour stuff.
I tried spelted bread last night. So
no, you got to make your own. The spelted bread has, unless it only has 3 ingredients.
Yes,
you made your own?
Yeah. Thank you for the inspiration. It's your fault. I didn't notice anything. So just a little bit of baking soda and salt and spelt flour and water.
And how'd you do?
Okay, I loved it.
Good.
Great.
Good.
Well, the standard answer for leg cramps is bananas. They're high in potassium. So that's stage 2. I don't know if you're ready for bananas, but that's the answer for most leg cramp issues.
Last night after the spelt bread, no problem. The night before after the rice cakes, and I ate a lot of them, so maybe that was part of it too, that I was dehydrated. I'm not used to it. So, but I did some research that leg cramps are pretty common in people on the keto diet, especially when they first start. So my guess is adding.
Because you're not eating bananas.
Yeah, that too. I miss them. I crave some. It's the time of year for oranges, and I'm in Northern California, and all these oranges are in season, and I'm not going to eat those this year.
When you get to stage 2, the first thing you should add is bananas, and then try grapefruit.
Yeah,
grapefruit's really good. I eat grapefruit all the time, even on late stage 1.
I will try grapefruit. So thank you. If I love it, and you can get by with it. Some days I feel like I could eat. Doesn't matter because dealing with the itching and biting. But when I'm exposed to those bugs at work, and I go home, I'm itchy, and I take the bath and shower afterwards, and clean clothes and sheets and all that stuff. I'm okay again. It seems. So I think I'm learning how to manage. I just wish I could get out of this stage.
Your challenge sounds like the work environment to get all that going for you there. Okay, well, thank you, Tony. Keep coming back. Glad you're progressing.
Thank you. Thanks for taking my call. Have a great week.
You too. Thank you. Who's next?
And everybody should give Robin a big virtual hug for. She sounds like she needs one.
Aw, thanks. I'm okay. Thank you.
Thanks for all your help. Take care. Bye.
Robin. Okay, thank you. Who's next, Chris?
Richard.
Yes, Mary. Yes, Mary.
I would like to go next because I have an email here, but it also talks about leg cramps, and I thought it might be useful.
Okay.
The email says, I appreciate the reminders you send. I just purchased the NG Chiosinase.
Yeah, the kinase enzymes. I can't pronounce it either.
Okay. And nanoglutathione from your store. Is this okay to take if you have thyroid nodules? Excuse me. This is okay to take if you have thyroid nodules, right? You have done so much for me. I want to buy everything I use from your store to show my appreciation. I really like the minerals. They stop the horrific leg and feet cramps I was having. The Max 1 and Garcillin keep me focused, and my energy level is so great. Just please get in the debriding soap. This is from John. I miss it. This is a lot of money too, but I'm not paying for a doctor, so I'm really saving money thanks to you. So apparently the minerals helped her with her leg cramps.
Yes, and unfortunately, I don't know whether she was using the ionic minerals or the other minerals we have in the store. I wrote her back and asked for clarification, but I didn't hear back. I suspect it's the ionic minerals, but I could be wrong. But yeah, the potassium is important, and lack of potassium is always going to be, I mean, some people have heart attacks because of low potassium levels. So potassium is very important. Yes, and the question about the thyroid, I'm not an expert there, but the bottom line is with boosting glutathione. Glutathione is in every cell of your body. So, I mean, cannot help, you know, that without glutathione, the thyroid's not going to work well. You're not going to have good moods. It's as simple as that. And what was the kinase enzymes? Again, the enzymes are targeted specifically for fungal organisms to so if there's any fungal issues going on, the kinase enzymes, the only thing they're going to do is assimilate any fungal organisms they find. That it assimilates the chitin, which is the building block of all fungal organisms. And the other aspect of this particular enzyme, and we talked about the subject a little bit earlier, is biofilm. It helps dissolve the biofilm. And this is particularly important when we're dealing with bacterium, specifically the Lyme disease organism, because what Lyme disease does, the bacterium, it builds a film around it. It's called biofilm, and this biofilm isolates it from any treatment, such as even antibiotics. They can't get through the biofilm. So we want to do everything we can to minimize the biofilm and destroy it.
Thanks for answering my call. I'm brand spanking new to even learning about you, and I did purchase your book, and I just got it. Literally, it's still in the Amazon package, so I'm excited to get started. Clearly, I have it. You know, I'm presenting Morgellons for sure, 100%, after about an 8-year assault of black toxic mold, and the house actually got torn down afterwards. So I was really losing my marbles there. So I almost lost my life. But anyway, so I'm here to tell a story, not to you, but just to live and get through this. Now I'm presenting Morgellons. I've been just dealing with the mold and all these other crazy things forever. So this is new. I've got all the fibers coming out, and I purchased the debriding soap. I've got the mouthwash and the cream. I guess it's called the Debridal cream, which looks like, I think, shea butter and coconut oil.
Okay.
So I'm doing the best I can. Yes, I'm doing the best I can. I have a terrible career that doesn't allow me to really focus. I'm actually a flight attendant, so it's horrible. I constantly have the assault of EMF and radiation and different hotel rooms, and so I'm trying to combat these things the best I can. It's really hard, and so I have a couple just concerns, and I know it's a loaded question, but there's so many different types of things that one can try, and I'm a little concerned. I want to try them, but I'm a little nervous just because I'm so sensitive to everything. So the Fenben, the ivermectin, the one with the R, I can't pronounce that one. I'm curious if there's like one straight answer for, does one just play around with these? That's not the right word, but experiment with these to see what they feel is best suited for them, or is it advisable to take them all the time together? You know, there's so many treatments that it's mind-boggling. I think it can make people feel overwhelmed and just freeze up, which is kind of like me. I don't not want to help myself, but I'm overwhelmed. And so that's kind of a rhetorical question, I guess you could say. And then the second question, you can answer them in either order. You mentioned liver enzyme testing for when and if I do start this Fenben and what have you.
I personally, said goodbye to Western medicine years ago. So who would oversee my test results per se, and how would I manage those? And if it were high, the
You'd have to have a doctor order the tests.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's true. Yes, I could do that. But would they...
and then the doctor would tell you if there was a problem.
Correct, I get that. And so at that point, would we quit the attendant? Would we quit them, or would we lower the dose? It's just kind of
you'd quit it. You'd stop.
Okay. So if it's too high, you just stop and you try something different?
Well, Fenben is, all of those, in my opinion, they're not supposed to be on for long term. They kill parasites in your body, and and they should be a short-term treatment. They're not like Lufeneron or Nitropyram, which you can stay on forever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you've been on a long time. But the other thing, too, is Tylenol can be as dangerous in terms of liver function as any of these medications. So let me address you travel a lot of hotels. Well, number one, I would suggest minimally that you have a spray bottle with you with either enzymes or the Benefect, which is the thyme disinfectant that we have. It's organic. And as soon as you go into a hotel room, is that you spray that hotel room. You spray the bedding, you spray the couch, you spray whatever, the bathroom, you spray it all down. Because there are so many people that have found that they have picked these organisms up from hotel rooms. So
I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah.
You may be one of the people spreading it through hotel rooms, and also now one of the people picking it up from hotel rooms because we shed these organisms. Ideally, you'd want to take the electrostatic sprayer with you and, get in the hotel room, and in 3 minutes or less, you have the whole room basically disinfected. So that would be ideal, but minimally, you want to be disinfecting. Now, next thing I would suggest is that you work on making the diet work. That can happen very quickly, or it can take a few weeks to get the diet to kick in to make it work. It took Robin over a month before she made the diet work. But as you listen to people talking here and listen to their experiences, it is worth it. If it takes a month, it is worth it, because you'll be further ahead a month from now than you'll ever be in your entire life in terms of getting your life back. Now, next thing I would recommend, if you haven't completed the questionnaire, is while you are reading the book, is send in the questionnaire. If you don't have it, email me and I will send you a questionnaire. You will complete it based on your answers. I can lay out a complete protocol for you from A to Z. A to Z.
Wonderful. That's fantastic.
Yeah, you can go through the entire book and figure it out yourself, or you can send me the answers and I'll do it for you. It takes me about maybe 15 or 20 minutes, and I'll send you back the complete protocol, listing everything that would be of benefit for you to do and the order in which to do them.
That's wonderful. I have one last bizarre question. So, yes, I understand that those cofactors, exist, and if they are, lit up, then, of course, the Morgellons is going to present itself worse or what have you. It's just a weird question because I have a curious mind. What then is, okay, that's not the right question. What causes Morgellons? Is it a bunch of cofactors that have just overloaded your system? Is that what it is? Is this what causes it?
There are a lot of theories that where Morgellons causes it. And, one theory, if you go on the Charles Holman Association site, they have something there about chemtrails, and that is one theory. And I don't know if you're familiar with an organization called HAARP, H-A-A-R-P-E. They do cloud dusting or chemtrails, and they emit that there is a theory. I'm just going to, maybe it's a hypothesis, but in fact, when you complete the questionnaire, if you're dealing with Morgellons that have filaments and fibers, there's a link to this video. You can look at the video and come to your own conclusions, whether you think it's a conspiracy theory or if there's something real to it. It really doesn't matter because wherever they come from, and that's what I was talking about, these movies they put out, the one that recently somebody mentioned the name of it. They're all, gloom and doom. Oh, this is what it looks like. This is what they find, and they interview people. They could interview anybody on here and listen to a misery story. We all have our misery stories. We all have them. And they can post all of these misery stories, make it look like gloom and doom, but they don't know what to do about it other than strong antibiotics. And to find one of the doctors, my job is to tell you to go find one of these doctors. Go Dr. Saverly, Dr. Bransfield, Dr. Cornish. There's a whole list of them there. There's one in Texas. I forget her name. 6 months from now, you might get an appointment if you're lucky. Okay. So we've got to do between...
No, I don't... Probably when I do the liver enzyme test, I'll just do a walk-in clinic. I literally, I have wonderful insurance. I don't even use it. I pay out of the Wazoo, with my job, and I don't use the insurance because it doesn't cover the type of care that I'm seeking. But I will have to do so for the when I start the FENDEN just for the test. But no, thank you to that offer of yours. I won't be going to those doctors.
Keep coming back. We're here for you. Okay. Who's next?
You're wonderful. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Who's next? You can go next, Nick.
Hey, Nick.
Hey, how you doing, Rich?
Hi.
I'm doing good. I mean, I got to say, between the diet, I keep telling people a diet. You got to do the diet first, cleaning, supplements. I feel a lot better. I'm on the Lecineron. I think I'm saying it right. But, there's testimonial for everybody that this program works. There's no other program like this, and it works.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing, Nick. Keep coming back. Nick is also one of our coaches. Nick started. How long has it been? About a year that you've been with us?
It's about a year. I was. When I first started, I was in the same boat as everybody else. I wanted to jump off a bridge. I had no place to turn to, and it was just very complicated, confusing. And if I could do it, anybody else could do this program. I mean, it's a fantastic program, and everybody should take advantage of it.
How is your health today compared to when you started the program?
Oh, I feel like a new man, Rich. I mean, my cholesterol's down. My everything else is in a lot better shape. I mean, the doctors are amazed that keep doing what I'm doing. They keep telling me, whatever you're doing, I don't know what you're doing, but keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you, Nick. And, most people, when they come to this program, and they get their lives back, will tell you exactly what Nick did. They're healthier now than when they were when they started the program. The diet is healthy, unless only you eat hamburgers, But the diet can be very, very healthy. This is all about being healthy. And the supplements, fantastic. They boost your energy. Everything. So thank you, Nick. Keep coming back. And thanks for contributing your time as a coach.
Thank you, Chris. Hi there. I have a question. And one thing I noticed is someone talked about using grapefruit, but I have noticed that if you're using Fenbin or ivermectin, they tell you not to use grapefruit at the same time because I don't know whether it, I believe it takes away from the power of it or it may magnify it, but there is a warning. If you're really going
to magnifies it, and unless you're eating tons of grapefruit, my doctor said it was okay.
Cool. Okay. My question is this. It's very possible that what I may have is a case of Myiasis, which, by the way, the very first dermatologist I went to over 10 years ago asked me how to spell Myiasis. talk about pathetic, right? And I'm starting to believe that that's what I'm dealing with is something along the lines of some kind of myiasis or bed bugs. My question is, could that, and I have asked some other people in the Morgellons arena about that, and they have said, well, even if it's external, it's probably internal too. Is that necessarily true?
Well, I don't know. It probably is, because we know that there's so much we don't understand about this. But we know that Morgellons affects your teeth, it affects your brain, it affects your gut. With springtails, I know it becomes systemic. With myiasis, I don't think it would not become systemic too. We just don't know enough about all this stuff.
And I have also read that mistakenly people think that Lyme disease or tick-borne diseases come just from ticks, but some of the recent stuff I've read is that it can come from, bed bugs or springtails or other creatures as well, that they can carry that spirochete. Is that something that you can quantify?
You're absolutely right there. Morgellons, I've seen a headline that says Morgellons tick-borne disease, which is, okay, yeah, it's tick-borne, but it's bullshit to say it's only tick-borne, because bed bugs can carry it. The pilot studies done by Marianne Middleveen and Strickler that are reported in the Charles Holloman Association website indicate that 90% of the people who are dealing with Morgellons also have Lyme disease, one of two species that are associated with Lyme disease. So not everybody is bitten by a tick. I was never bitten by a tick to come up with Morgellons. If anybody on this question is wondering what my experience has been, it's outlined in the book, but I am, let's say, my life is back from springtails, columbella, mites, skin fungus, Morgellons, chronic Lyme disease, and hot tub rash. I've had them all, okay?
Wow.
So, I'm speaking from personal experience. I live my life normally. I am not contagious. I eat anything I want. I am totally free of the organisms, although I'm susceptible to being reinfected, as all of us are. And most of us who get our lives back, it's not necessarily the end of ever having the organisms again. We can be reinfected at any time. For instance, after Robin got her life back, which she got very quickly, she made the mistake of opening Pandora's box. You want to share your Pandora's box?
Sure. So, I had gotten infected, my home had gotten infected with mites, fleas, bed bugs, and I had hired a exterminator that brought in the springtails. So I had mites, bed bugs, fleas, and springtails, and they all carry or can carry Morgellons. So then I also had that, and I was ready to burn my house down when I found Richard. Within 4 months, I got clear of everything. I did use exterminators to help because of the fleas, and if it kills fleas, it kills mites and bed bugs too. So anyway, I was totally clear. I had a wonderful Christmas party. I had all my Christmas decorations up. They had been enclosed for 3 years, and it never occurred to me that anything would survive that long, but everything did. Everything did, and I didn't even recognize it because I forgot what it was like. So my whole house became totally reinfested.
By
And
opening.
I'm still dealing with and then I got COVID, so I couldn't do anything about it. So it's been a long haul this time, but I'm making progress.
Can I ask you another question? Is at one point in time, this is probably 12 years ago when I talked with you personally on the phone, Richard. But anyway, I had bought, because I was freaking out totally. I live in a 100-year-old house. I had bought that spray that is the cedar side. And so I have like their machine, which is probably like a $500 machine.
It doesn't work.
And it's a fogger. And I'm wondering if instead of using that material, which I found out would be toxic to my cat, and after reading that people could never get the smell out of their house, I was wondering if I could use that with your product, since I'm now moneyed out and can't afford
Do not
the
use the
electrostatic
fogger.
sprayer.
Sell it on eBay.
Yeah, get rid of it.
Do not use the fogger. Sell it on eBay. It doesn't work.
Yeah, foggers don't work. It's why we go the electrostatic sprayer route, which is about, a little less expensive than the fogger. If you paid $500, the electrostatic sprayer is less than that. So
when this house was built, for some reason they put the dryer vents going under the house, not out of the house. So I think what is happening is there are mites and insects because there's all this lint under this old house. And because it's built in the 20s, and, those houses are built differently. They have like a 6-inch space in between the wall, on the outside. I think this lint is actually coming up through the wooden floorboards and all of it. And this lint is infected with mites. So I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to do it, because
you
in
can
other words,
get
the whole house is doomed.
you can get they have these little contraptions for dryers that it goes from the lint thing into this container, self-contained thing with water, and it catches all the lint without even going outside. And then you just dump
I probably have literally layers upon layers upon layers of lint under the house. And
you'd have to hire a handyman to clean it out, or somebody.
It's become a home for fleas and mice and you name it. I don't know why they constructed it that way, but they did, and I started figuring out, why is this lint coming up from the floorboards and around the corners of the walls? And that's why.
Let's address this dryer issue. Number one, you can put that contraption on that Robin was talking about. It will also humidify and save the heat for your house. They are a little cumbersome to deal with. They can spill over or whatever, so you need to make sure. And you need to put the disinfectant in the water so that anything that goes in there is going to be disinfected. Of course, you want to put ammonia in your dryer every time that you're drying to destroy anything coming out. Secondly, you can get the dryer vent changed so it goes outside and not going in and stirring things up inside.
But that's going through a brick wall. That's going to be out of my league as far as money, since the doctors have basically moneyed me out. So I think that she's talking about might work, though.
Then you go with Robin's idea and just make sure you take care of it. Secondly, under the house, I don't know. If you could spray in menthol crystals. I don't know if it's ventilated or what, but you need to put something in there. Menthol crystals or something all over the place.
Delta dust. Try Delta dust.
Sulfur dust?
No, Delta dust. It kills bed bugs, mites, springtails.
Yeah, the only thing I worry about in life, probably beyond myself, is that so many of the essential oils and the different different poisons and all the different things used for Morgellons are lethal to cats. So that's always my
Delta dust is a pesticide, and I have used it in very specific places in my house with no harm to my cat. But if you're really worried, just use diatomaceous earth. Okay,
I've got big, huge bags of diatomaceous earth.
Yeah, somehow you're going to need to spread it all over that area where it's been accumulating. You got walls, you got the ceiling, you got everything. So it's going to be a challenge to get them out of there.
But maybe an exterminator could help you do that.
it's like the house itself is 35 feet high, and the brick is pulling away from the structure because the person who did the brick, whom I hired to do the brickwork, probably sealed a bunch of bugs in, but he also didn't use tie rods. So what's happening is that the structure is kind of pulling away from the walls, and every time I mop, all kinds, it's like just millions of fibers that are coming up from the floorboards, they're coming up from around it, and the only thing I can guess is it's all coming from underneath the house where they put this great dryer idea in.
Well,
it's massive, in other words. I mean, I probably just need to bail. I need to sell, probably.
Probably, because, you know, you're defining what we call a sick house, and the idea is whenever you have a sick house, is that somehow you get out as soon as you can, figure out a way to move and get away, and make sure you're not moving into another sick house.
Yeah.
You know, there are two things going on here. Number one, when we have these organisms, we either bring them into the house, in which case, when we clean our bodies and clean the environment, the house is good. The other situation is that when you have a situation as was just described, or a backed up sewer, or mold in the walls and stuff like that from leaky gutters and stuff like that, house is sick. And you want to move as soon as you can. Now, not everybody, I mean, it doesn't mean the next person who moves in is going to be affected by it like you are. But you are affected and you need to get out. And you hope the next person moving in isn't affected by it, but it's a sick house. Okay.
Yeah, but it might be fixable. I mean, it sounds like you know where the things are isolated. It doesn't sound like it's undoable.
Well, you know, in an old house they use what's called plaster and lath, and if you're familiar with that, there's
my
like
house
several
is 120 years. My house is 122 years old.
Right. So they're coming up from. If you were to lie on your back, which would be crazy because of all the spiders and crap, but if you were to lie on your back underneath the house, you can look all the way up 35 feet to the attic. So it's a terrible thing, but there are these entryways for mice. Excuse me, mice and any kind of insect. They can just be all over the house, and I mean, it's pretty. I thought about those things that you light underneath a house. I don't know what they're called. I forget, but they're pretty scary. But you light them with a match, and they pour the smoke all through the walls. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Well, they have various bombs that you can buy, insect bombs that could be a good start, be a place to start if you're dealing with.
I've bombed the crap out of it, and that didn't help. But someone told me that these things you actually light with a match, is what could get through the. If I did it under the house or I did it right, it could get through the walls. So they can't just run into the walls and come back out.
I'm not familiar with it, so that's something we don't have the expertise on. If you figure out what it is, you can share. If it works for you, you can share. Okay.
Yeah, I forget what they're called. I think they use them in the East a lot, but not so much here.
Yeah. Okay.
It's like a fumigation device or something.
Well, thank you, and good luck with your situation.
Thank you very much, Richard.
Keep coming back. Who's next?
I have, like many of us, have lots of issues, and it can be overwhelming. So the support is so valuable to me and to others. I have a question here. It's really strange on my flooring in my vanity area in my kitchen. There's luminescent spots that are like they're shiny, dark gray. And I noticed them last night. They seem to be more readily available, and also when I had gotten up today. And I'm just wondering, it's just weird where it could be coming from. I'm realizing the environment is beyond help here, but I'm doing the best I can in the situation. You know, it's like I say, it can be very, very overwhelming, and I wanted your take on that. If I'm being clear in explaining what it appears to be. It's like shiny spots, and they're dark gray, and on my flooring.
Or can you clean them? Can they be cleaned?
Yeah, I pick them up. They're sticky. I wipe them up, but it's weird. They seem to be more available now. I don't know. It's just, could they be coming from the ceiling, falling down, or it's just strange. I don't know. Very strange. And the other, okay, can I add something else, if I could, please? As far as the ammonia, which I see in the book is used very, often for, and so helpful for many people. But is there anything that I could use aside from the ammonia? Because I'm so sensitive to everything, and it is toxic. And I'm just wondering, because he also mentioned the boric acid can be used as a spray. Can that be as effective as the ammonia? That's my other question.
Diatomaceous earth, you can spread it. You can buy boric acid crystals and put them in warm water. You can spray that, but it'll turn white when it dries, just like you can spray diatomaceous earth. You could try white vinegar as an option. Hypochlorous acid, you could use it, but it's not been reported to be as effective as ammonia. Then we have the Benefect disinfectant, and that is probably top notch. We have the Metaclean. Robin talked about what was that dust that you were talking about?
Delta dust.
Delta dust. You could get that from Home Depot, I guess, or Lowe's.
Or do your own pest control.
Right, and you can you try our Metaclean. It's a chemical disinfectant that you mix 1 part concentrate with 8 parts water. You could spray that. So you can experiment with these different things. If it's not like in your clothing or your bedding, then you can use a chemical like Metaclean or the Delta dust or the chemical ones.
I use a mix of cedar and clove too. That also kills.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you. I'm sorry. I apologize. I can't hear.
Cedar and clove oil. It's expensive. You could use that as well. You could even use Nature's Gift. I'm looking at the less expensive route, and I'm not sure. Does these things reoccur at the same place, or do they come at different?
Yeah, the same place. It's just strange. I mean, I know.
Okay.
Like I say, the situation I'm in is beyond it's overwhelming. It's the thing is with a lot of these issues that we're experiencing, doing daily life, and people have other personal issues. Things get compounded where, it can be so much. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
right.
It's just
is at the same place and they grow back. You remove them and they grow back. Then get our red cedar oil and rub the red cedar oil into that surface. Okay.
And then I'll do that. The red cedar oil, and then just saturate the flooring with it. Is that how much do I use? Or
it's the same spot. You don't have to do the whole floor. Just the
the same spot. Okay, it's in my vanity area, in the bathroom area, and in the kitchen. Okay, and just that should, and see what kind of work with that and see if that can be helpful.
People report that some of these organisms, they go into countertops. They'll even go into granite. I mean, I've never seen it, but I don't. There are too many people that report the same things to call them wackos,
it's like I say, there's just so many, and everybody is so biochemically different too. I mean, those of us on the call, we probably have more commonality in terms of our sensitivity. But most of society would think, those of us that have these symptoms are really off the wall, right?
Right. Well, I mean, there's even a website that talks about Morgellons eating concrete.
Oh, God.
It's silly, but it's these same organisms that go into granite or concrete or whatever that are cofactors of Morgellons. It's not Morgellons. It's one of these organisms that are cofactors. Like I said earlier, there's an infinite number of ways that people experience these organisms, and so the red cedar oil, it goes into the surface and will pretty much eliminate anything that is into a granite surface or a concrete or wood or anything like that. It's the best thing to do. You can also try clove oil or any of the essential oils, but I think the red cedar would be the best.
So just, in other words, do I have to leave it on for a certain amount of time and wipe it off, or what do you think about?
You're gonna rub it in, and that's it. You're not gonna.
Okay, and not take it off. Okay, rub it in and just leave it there.
You can't take it off, unless you put too much on. You just gotta rub it in, and it's gonna all go in the pores. You don't need to rub a lot. It's expensive stuff, but you don't need to rub a lot of it. Just rub it in, like you're polishing it.
And I have can I ask another quick question? Is that okay?
Sure.
Yeah, on my scalp, it's just my scalp has gotten more clear. I'm grateful for that. But I have one spot that keeps on, coming back, a little scab, and it's the same place. It's strange.
Does it itch? Is there any? Anything?
It was biting, but not anymore. But it keeps. I put different potions and oils, and the essential oils, different things I've used on a tea tree, and orange oil, and then it leaves like a red spot after the scab comes off. But it's the same place on my scalp. Is that like a point of entry for the mites, or?
Well, it's hard to say if it's an active or inactive site. We don't know. I've got lesions that are like gelatinous types of things on the back of my scalp for over 30 years now, and they're not active. I just if I pull them off, which I used to do, they just grow back.
They grow back, right?
It's sort of like a scar. They're not active, but they're there. They just can't get rid of them. Some of them, some have gone away over the course of time, and some haven't. So if they're active and you're feeling the itching and the biting, well, then we need to continue. But otherwise, they just may be residual effect.
So I shouldn't, freak out about it.
Don't freak out about it. No,
and just do the best I can here, because, like I say, there's so many. It's like the onion skin. You peel back one, and there's another layer underneath that one.
Well, you just need to determine whether or not it spreads or not. If it doesn't spread, well, then
it doesn't spread. I have to be cognizant of it. And the other thing too is, as products, I need to start. I saw that the Debriding soap was out of stock, and I have to get the new formula. I've got to start on the products, and then I need to talk to Chris about shipping and and all the other issues involved with that. But yeah, I need to get the products, and I want to start with the Max One and the multivitamin. But again, I'm so sensitive to everything, and I wish there was samples that I could purchase to try. You know what I'm saying? I'm one of these people. I'm just very, very sensitive to everything. Unfortunately, I wish it was different, but it is what it is. So.
Right. Okay, thank you for sharing. Keep coming.
Thank you. I appreciate your support. Thanks so much.
For everybody who is on this call, you've heard people talk about our Nature's Gift products and the supplements and things. We are not really here to sell. Of course, we welcome your support. We provide this program for free. We provide the book for free. Provide our coaches coach for free. Our updates and our blog is free. Our reports and books. We have a book about Win the War of the Mite. We talked about that last week. That's free. Lyme disease doesn't have to own you anymore. That's free. It's published also on Amazon. We provide all this information for free. We welcome you to support our store. It's not necessary. If you can, don't feel guilty if you're in this program and not purchasing anything. Point is, there's not much else that works other than what we have. It's just truth.
I'd just like to say, I know there's a couple of new people on the call today, and it's very easy to get overwhelmed because there's no one straight answer for everyone, but to just keep doing things step by step, and slowly it will get better.
Yes, it is overwhelming, and that's part of what we're going to talk about when we deal with stress management. I mean, these organisms are overwhelming themselves, but then the information on what to really do, because like I mentioned in the first segment, you can go to Facebook and say, hey, I did this and I got rid of my Morgellons, and you go do that and it doesn't work. Well, you got different cofactors, you got different organisms, you got different things happening. No one thing is going to work for anybody. We need to look at all of it and in order. And like we noted, the first segment was about intestinal parasites. And no matter what the disease is, you're going to do better if you first deal with intestinal parasites and get them out of the picture. Then you can progress to the next step and deal with the next problem. And number 2 is fungal organisms. And, okay, deal with fungal organisms. Get them out of the picture. And the bottom line is, eventually we come down to Morgellons, which is very easy to deal with. Boron, alkalize your body. We've talked about that many times. And that is said, I'm not going to make a claim here, that is said to be the answer. So that concludes this portion of the program.